Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about an undrafted free agent signing that the Washington Commanders made that I think has a chance to make the roster at the end of the offseason, and I think he has a chance to maybe be a Taysom Hill type player. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So when Colin Schlee was signed as a undrafted free agent to the Washington Commanders, I wasn't a big fan of it because, I am a Virginia Tech Hokie fan, or I go to Virginia Tech and obviously a fan too, and I just didn't think he was that good at VT, when he did play quarterback. But he has very good athletic traits, and maybe he can be a Taysom Hill type player. So they brought him in as a UDFA, and Ben Stanek originally said they're, bringing him in for rookie minicamp, but then I saw a bunch of different tweets saying that they signed him, but they want him to play quarterback, but also wide receiver / halfback. Apparently, he's also going to be at the Ravens rookie minicamp. That's what Ben Stanek said, but all the other reports are saying he signed the Commanders. Virginia Tech themselves said he went to the Commanders. They didn't say anything about the Ravens, but maybe he'll also be at the Ravens minicamp. Not completely sure there, but Colin Schlee, he has these athletic traits that are very good. He's got good, height, 6'3", a little bit over 6'3". Weight isn't great, 211. Vertical jump, 40-inch vertical leap. That's crazy. The broad jump's even better, 10 feet, 8 inches, I believe. That is a 9.98 on the RIS scale. 40-yard dash is a 4.5. 20 split is good, even better, and then 10-yard split's good. Shuttle's all right, and the 3-cone is very good. Overall, his RAS score is a 9.82. Obviously, it only goes up to 10. This is 20th all time in quarterbacks, from 1987 to 2025. 20 out of 1,048. So he has a lot of really good traits in terms of athleticism, just not a guy you want to play quarterback, in my opinion. So you look at his stats. He's from Maryland, so shout out to the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, not DMV, but just DC, Maryland, Virginia. I don't know where this is, if it is technically in the DMV area. But this past year for VT, 51% completion percentage, 400 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Just wasn't that good, to be honest. Wasn't awful, but 50% completion percentage is putrid. The touchdown interception ratio is fine. He is pretty athletic. Played at UCLA the year before, didn't really get much PT, and the year before at Kent. You look at his rushing, decent rushing numbers. Last year had, in a few games, had 143 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. The year before for UCLA was used a lot as a runner. 42 carries, averaged 10 yards a carry, 425 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had a 57-yard run. Maybe it was for a touchdown. I don't know. But it was used more of a runner at UCLA than he was used here. And I guess he's punted as well. 3 punts for 41 yards, a long of 52. And he had 3 rushing yards in 2023, and 3 total touchdowns. I'm trying to see here because he had 2 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. And then, this past year, 2 rushing touchdowns. Just looking over some of the stuff here for Virginia Tech. And I don't think, he didn't have any receiving touchdowns. But that's the gist of it. He's athletic, and they're bringing him in as a quarterback, but also running back / halfback. So let's see what he can do, and maybe they bring him in and keep him around and potentially see what they have in him, develop him as much as possible, see if they can get more out of him as more of a wide receiver, running back, tight end type of player. The scouting report on him: good athleticism. Testing, 5-year college player, but underwhelming production. Only 21 career touchdowns, over 40 games. Accuracy is really bad, 57.8% completion percentage. So originally I wasn't even going to make a video about it, but then looked more into his athleticism numbers and didn't realize how good they were until I looked into that. And then also the Ben Stanek tweet, I think, about him potentially being a running back, halfback, not even potentially. That's where they're going to use him as partially, is what he said. Some of the other, free agent signings they made, undrafted free agent. I made videos on Ricky Barber, Fentrell Cypress, Carlin Vigors, Trey Rucker. If you guys want to go ahead and check those videos out, all yesterday. They also signed a linebacker, forgot his name, but from UCLA, was a 5-star out of high school, 2018 class, played at Alabama, then to UCLA. But Robert McDaniel, a pretty good prospect out of Jackson State. A lot of people liked him coming out, thought he would maybe get drafted. And then Tim McKay, I talked about him in another video, but basically was expected to, be like a day 3 pick, early-ish day 3 pick. Tore his pec at his pro day and slipped. So the Commanders getting good value out of that draft pick, in my opinion, in Tim McKay. And, overall, I don't think this is a super strong UDFA class for the Commanders. I would be surprised if anyone made the team besides maybe Colin Schlee from Virginia Tech, just because of the potential at that hybrid position where they could play him in a bunch of different spots. But you look at the other guys, like there's not a lot of spots in the secondary open. Maybe Tim McKay can make it. I just don't know what the injury situation is looking like for him, and that could stunt his development and time to actually get PT in the off season and get work in. So that could be a detriment to him making the Commanders 53-man roster. But obviously, if he didn't have that injury, he would have been drafted higher. So not sure. I guess the pro day was probably mid-April, early April. I don't know, in that range, anywhere from late March to mid-April. So the recovery on that usually is like 3-ish months, 2-3 months, depending on the player. Probably 3 months. So he will probably be out until training camp, but rooting for him for sure. Some other news, I don't know if I'm going to make a video on it. I talked about Gabe Taylor. I made a video about that. But the Commanders, obviously, the big news of the day was going to RFK. A lot of people are excited about that. That is official. All the details about the stadium have been, a lot of them at least have been released, just in terms of some of the renderings, some of the details. Franchise is putting $2.7 billion in, and DC's putting some money in as well. So it's going to reach over $3 billion. $65K is expected to be the seating. Roof stadium, but they don't know if it's going to be fixed versus retractable, which is basically dome versus retractable. 8,000 parking spots. They're going to try to develop the area as much as possible around it. And mentioned Atlanta Falcons, and then also SoFi as comparisons into how it's going to go. Roger Goodell spoke today. The mayor of DC spoke as well. Mayor Bowser and Josh Harris as well. So a lot of people talking about the stadium deal. I might, talk about that in a separate video. Let's see if Standick posted the renderings, because I know some people did. I'll probably make a separate video about that. But overall, good news for the Washington Commanders. That'll be happening in like 2030. So let's see if I can find any information. Not any information, but just the rendering. So I guess, they haven't posted, but you can just look it up. They have it posted all over the place. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.